It's not about what happens to you. No one escapes adversity. No one lives free of discomfort or misfortune or struggle. No, it will always be about what you do with what happens to you. In other words, it's not the event, it's the response. Not the obstacle, but the ability to navigate around it. Not the wave, but the ability to ride its momentum to something greater. It is not what happens to you, it is what you do about what happens to you. The famous Roman emperor and Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." And I think this realization comes down to the fact that there is always a way. Buried underneath it all, something powerful to leverage. But getting to the value calls for a rewiring. A change in the questions that we ask. Not, how could this happen to me? But, how can I be better tomorrow than I am now because of what happened to me? Not, can I still be that person or accomplish what I set out to? But, I am that person. Now how will I adjust my path so that I get there? We're operating within a world of value, limitless opportunity. The difficulty simply pushes us to that value faster, expedites the process. It forces us to open our eyes and see that the world works for us. So you take, for example, the fear of starting something new. That fear, it doesn't have to be an endpoint or a red light indicator. Fear doesn't mean you're not qualified or prepared or equipped. It simply lets you know that you have finally acquired the courage to step out of the safety of the only world you knew and into the turbulence of growth.
Let's go, let's go. Good morning, familiar. Rise and shine. Another blessed and grateful day. That's actually a fire audio. I'm going to go ahead and drop it in the chat so you guys can catch the rest of that. That one got me excited for the morning. But nonetheless, let's go ahead and drop some gratitude down below before I go ahead and get into this phenomenal training. Today is going to be a big one, right? Understanding the compound effect and the role it plays in our daily activities. And you're going to get a lot of value from the story that I go ahead and give to you. So before we go ahead and dive in, grateful for each and every one of you. Grateful for God. Grateful to be healthy. Grateful to be alive. Grateful to be feeling abundant and blessed. And I can feel it flowing to and through each and every single one of you. So let's go ahead and get started for the day. Tomorrow we're out to Arkansas. It's a big week. We need a lot of sauce to go ahead and bring you back some personal mentorship from Mr. Sean G. Murphy, Shane Talina. Get ready. It's going to be a lot of value. So let's go ahead and get into it. All right. The compound effect. I want to go ahead and give you guys a story so you can understand the role that this plays in not just business, but to be honest, in our life, right? How many of you guys have ever heard the term, if I were to give you a penny doubled for 30 days, or if I were to give you $1 million cash for 30 days, which one would you take, right? Hopefully by now, most of you understand the power of being able to double the penny, right? The penny after 30 days is roughly around 5 million. After 31 days, it comes out to roughly around 10 million. So you understand that with money now. Now I'm going to give you an example of that in your life, right? Because most of us here, and here's the honest truth. You're not going to understand this unless you actually go ahead and put it on a calculator, right? So if we get out a calculator and we go ahead and look this up, here's what you're going to find, okay? When you go on it and you go ahead and do 0.01 times 2, okay? Let's go ahead and play this out. So this is 2 days, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. You really don't see it start kicking until the end, right? Now we busted 1 million. Now we're at 31 days. We just hit 10. So if you paid attention to what you just saw, you don't really see the growth until even after the 25th day. But in the midst of all that, you're wondering, where is the growth? Where is the massive jump? Well, here's what happens in our life. You see, when many of us get on a new routine, or we start something new, or we got involved even with entrepreneurship or doing what it is that we're doing with trading and impacting lives, here's the deal. At the beginning, you're not going to see the growth that you're looking for. It's the same thing with the gym. If you haven't worked out for 6 months and you go in the gym today and you go work out for 3 hours, you're not just going to have a crazy effect all of a sudden. It's going to take time. So I'm going to go ahead and give you this story so you guys can really make this make sense, okay? There's 3 individuals. We have Scotty, we have Brandon, and we have Jeremy. Ready? Scotty, Brandon, and Jeremy, okay? Scotty is the individual that he's sick and tired of being sick and tired in his life, and he's ready to go ahead and make a change. So he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change these little parts of my day, and we're going to see how this plays out in about 27 months, okay? So we have the next individual, right? The next individual, he's content with being content, right? He's okay with living his life. So he just keeps on doing the same thing, getting by. And then we have the third, right? The last individual that he starts to slip up a little bit, but you don't notice at the beginning, but over time, the changes start to happen, okay? So let's go ahead and role play this. The first individual, right? He says, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start getting up earlier. So over the course of his day, he changes literally, it's not even a big change. It's not even 30 different things. He changes literally around 5 to 10 things. And let me show you what happens in the difference. You ready? Even little choices. The first thing, instead of hitting the snooze button, Scott decides he's going to go ahead and get up, right? He's going to go ahead and get up on time. The second thing, instead of first thing looking at the news, he decides he's going to go ahead and read 10 pages of a book, right? Nothing crazy, but starting out small. He's taking the actions to start to do things a little bit different, right? Now, on the way to the office, as he's driving to the office, instead of listening to music like he normally does, now he's actually started to listen to audios, right? Now he started to personally develop himself on the way. Now, once he gets to the office, instead of parking in the closest spot, he actually parks all the way in the back so he can get the walking, he can get the exercise going to work. And when he gets out of work, he hits the gym for 45 minutes. And when he comes when he comes back home, he makes a couple extra calls, right? He puts in a little extra work for himself and for his business. And this is Scott's day, right? Even just little things. And over the course of 5 months go by, 10 months go by, there's not really a crazy difference. But let's go ahead into the second individual, right? He keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and he's expecting something different. But he's okay with living a content life, right? So he just keeps getting by. 5 months go by, 10 months go by. He's the same exact person. But then we've got the third, right? The last individual. He starts even little things. He does the opposite of Scott. Instead of getting up early, he hits the snooze button a couple times. He's listening to music all the way at work. In fact, instead of taking out 125 calories in his diet, he added on 125 calories in his diet. Instead of going to the gym, he ended up sitting and actually watching more movies at home. And instead of going on a date night, scheduling a date night once a week like Scott was doing with his girl, he actually decided to give her the cold shoulder. Now, it might not seem like a big deal at the beginning, but over time, you're going to see how this starts to play out. So 5 months go by, 10 months go by, and pretty much everybody's relatively similar, right? Scott, he's lost a little weight in his belt. Jeremy is pretty much the same. And we've got the last individual who's actually started to have to get a little bit bigger of a pair of jeans. Now let's play it out 20 months. 20 months goes down. All right, now we're to the point where Scott has now lost 20 pounds. He's feeling great. He's feeling vibrant. He's actually started to do more in his business. Then we've got Jeremy, the second individual, who's still the exact same person, 20 months later. But in fact, he started to get a little bit of apathy at home. He started to get a little bit more stressed out at work. He started to become a little bit more overwhelmed. And him and his girl are not necessarily talking or having the best relationship. And then we've got the third individual, right, who's really starting to feel it. He's really starting to get depressed. He's actually starting to get heart problems because he hasn't been eating well and he's been sitting so much with no exercise. Now let's play it out 7 months more down the line, 27 months total. Here's where we're left at. Ready? Scott has lost a total of over 33 pounds, and it's to the point where he has a phenomenal relationship with his wife. In fact, those extra calls that he's been doing in the office actually generated him an extra $200,000 over the course of over pretty much those past 2 years, right? 27 months. So he's a completely different individual. Now we have Jeremy. Jeremy started to experience not a lot of health problems coming into his life. His relationship with his wife is not doing very well, and he's really struggling financially because now all of the things in life have started to catch up to him. And then we've got the third, the last but not least. He is now not only, unlike Scott, he didn't lose 33 pounds. He actually did the opposite. He gained 33 pounds. He's having a lot of health issues. In fact, he's actually going into the hospital because he's been having heart problems. He's about to file for a divorce with his girl because his one date night a week that he kept ignoring ended up creating a snowball effect into his life and into his relationship. So you can see at the beginning, all of these little things that don't seem like they play a big role. In fact, it's the little things that end up creating the bigger picture. So if you were to get one thing out of this whole training, what is the biggest word that you can take from this? What is the biggest thing you guys can understand? Choices. Choices make up our entire life. So every day that you guys go about and you have these little choices, what you're going to eat after this call, if you're going to go to the gym, if you're going to go ahead and call your mentor, if you're going to go ahead and plug into a go live once at least every day, you have the choice to go ahead and do it. And I'm telling you right now, even for me over the past 4 years, I can 1000% relate. When I first started and I was having $20 days, $30 days, even after two months, almost 3 months, everybody was asking me, D, why are you wasting your time for this skill set? Why are you studying so much? Why are you traveling to go to events when you don't even have the money? Because I understood that great things take time, right? The law of gestation. You cannot plant something one day and expect it to sprout the next, right? Anything that comes fast, here's what I learned. It's not even worth having, right? If you were to get lucky and go win the lottery today, most people would have no idea how to even handle it. So I decided I wanted to earn what I was deserved. I wanted to go out and put in so I could go out and get out what I knew I was able to go in and achieve. So this is where it starts. So my goal for you guys today is start to figure out what are your daily habits and how can you make the little changes that's going to lead to a massive shift in your life over time. I got out of the 30, 60-day mindset a long time ago. I said, you know what? Let me sacrifice 3 to 5 years to open up the next 40 years. If I spent 4 years in college to be 33K in debt, and I spent roughly 4 years in this academy to learn a skill set to be unemployed, but let me ask you, is it worth the time? Absolutely. So if I knew I could do it, anybody else that's open-minded, that's willing to learn, could also do it as well. So that's my goal for you guys today is understand the power of consistency. Understand the power of persistence, right? They say consistency will get you there. Persistence will keep you there. So go make a decision. If nobody told you today, you are a leader, you are powerful. And I know for a fact that your success is inevitable if you make the decision to hold the vision, trust the process, and just keep going. The only way you fail, in fact, is if you quit or you don't believe in yourself. That's the only 2 ways this doesn't happen. If you're able to actually believe in yourself and make the decision, your success is already inevitable. It just has time to go ahead and catch up. So family, with that being said, if you got any value from the compound effect, go ahead and smash that like button. Drop some sevens down below. It's your favorite entrepreneur, Define Dreams. You can be, do, or have anything that you can hold right here in your mind. I promise you, you can hold it right here in your hand. Family, go out, get to work. Let's make it happen. It's game time.